feel like I'm the fish in a fishbowl because I can't see the people I'm talking with and I can't see the outside screen. Anyway, how do you all feel?
I feel good. I've started the live in the group, and we're all good.
Okay. I am got it. Oh, and you look so beautiful, everybody.
Thank
Today
you.
it's this month in the world of marketing. We have news about all the things search, social, and websites, right?
We
Yep.
got news.
Yes.
We got news. Um, Phelan's supposed to be running the show today, but I, like usual, am taking over. And of course, who do we want to put in the hot seat first to talk about what they know? Because we all have so much time, right? We've all been paying attention to all the news and social media and other marketing, right?
Yeah.
No,
Exactly.
yes, no. Um,
Well, yeah.
so let's start with let's start with the easiest one, which is Bing. We all know Bing. Bing is got added 29 countries to their offering. So if you think Google Ads is too expensive and you're in another part of the world, you might now have the option to try Microsoft Bing Ads. So I think that's pretty amazing. And
Yeah.
that's all I
Yeah.
got for the week.
Uh-oh.
When it's slow in SEO, it's going to be a tough show to get through.
All right. Nah, it'll be easy and good. There's always so much going on. What's going on, Greg? Is there any website stuff? Greg Phelan?
Well,
I
hang
think.
on. Let's expand on your Bing ads. How many people do you find are starting to use Bing ads? Is it like picking up and people moving to that over Google a little bit, or?
I would consider trying it. So here's a couple really interesting things. If you have a Google Ads campaign, it is a click of a button to get your Bing ads up and running.
Hmm.
However, for the marketer, it's almost double the work after that because you have to log into another platform. You have to optimize in that platform. So easy to set up, harder to optimize in that now you're optimizing two accounts. So it might cost you double because it's double the work. That being said, the cost per click is a lot cheaper, like 30% cheaper over there. So if you struggle with your keywords costing $50 to $80 a click or something, I know movers pay a pricey amount, and SEOs do. Google Ads people do. I'm
I
not.
would love to see demographics on Bing customers over like Google ad customers because I would like I don't use Bing. I don't know a lot of people that use Bing.
Mm,
So I'm all I'm thinking is like what type of people actually are using Bing as their search.
they're short people.
Um,
Short people. Huh. So you so you use Bing?
Yeah. No. I was just making a joke because I'm short, and um, the here's the thing about Bing. If you work in certain companies, I mean, you're loaded up with Bing when you get your computer for work,
well,
Yeah, I
because
guess corporate's very Microsoft heavy and
yeah.
yeah,
always
They do a
using
lot of
yeah.
locking out in big high corporate settings where you're forced to use all Microsoft products because they're super secure with their own systems and it's all deeply integrated. So there's a lot of people that if you're going for very B2B, I would definitely look at that as an option. If it's just
Yeah.
general like find a carpet cleaner, I would be a little more wary about it.
Yeah.
Just that's been
Well,
my experience of
that's what I was getting at is the clientele using both platforms could be vastly different, and someone who's using Google Ads right now might be better off using Bing or vice versa because of that. So it's kind of interesting.
it is. I think I'm going to try it. I actually have never done the click of the button to transfer over a campaign. I've done it with, and we do it all the time with Google My Business and Bing Places. Super easy to do. I mean, the only issue is then if you transfer over all the data, if you're tracking Google My Business with a UTM parameter, you have to go back in and change it to Bing and Places versus Google and My Business. So yeah, there's that. So I don't know. I'm gonna try it, and I will give you feedback on how it goes and what the conversions are like. I just have to find a willing client, which
Oh,
might.
I think I've
So,
thought of one that we can talk about.
I guess we'll talk about it. Oh, I'm now excited. So that's the big news. I mean,
Oh, but not right now.
oh,
I
right.
do see another ad related item in here about Google Ads having issues at the moment
Oh,
potentially.
yes, yes. I need to say though, Mona says hi. Hello. Nice to have you here. Yeah, so we are struggling with something in Google Ads right now. The new guidelines have come out for being a premium partner, and it's actually uh caused it's just making it so we can't be a partner because all our clients now have to pass the Google Ads exam in order for us to get our partner badge. So it's some
That's so
glitch.
funny when you think about it, because the whole reason why people outsource that is to get an expert on it. So
It's so that
it just
they don't have to do
seems
the
like a.
test.
So do you have to pay for the test? Like, what is the point?
No, the test is free, and the test
Okay.
is to I think it's put there to make people feel bad about themselves. Uh, I do because when you do your
Yeah,
Google Ads test, the only way to really pass it and understand what they're asking, you have to work inside the account. You can't just, you know, you can't you can't know where the um shared negative keyword list is. Is it in the settings or is it in the like, I don't know, blah da da. And you're supposed
Mm.
to know the answer when that's a very like they're just their questions are quite obscure, where they think you should know things you shouldn't know. So
Yeah, and it's also it's a bit more academic than it is practical. Like it does a lot of weird theory stuff that's not I haven't really found it like transfer being able to pass the test.
and when somebody tells you they've passed all the tests, like they've done the YouTube, they've done the analytics, they've done all the tests, you're like, yeah, how'd you pass those tests? We know you cheated. If you don't have any experience, right? But there's ways to pass that test.
Well, cheat or not, basically, if you get the question right, you've looked up the answer and you've at least learned it,
Yeah.
Right?
and
And that's
written down the answer. So, I mean, if you pass, you passed.
and
You've
that's the
looked up.
thing.
Yeah.
When I was a sales rep, they made us go and take our Google Ads tests. So as a sales rep who is not doing the work, none of us, we all figured out how to pass the test. This was many years ago. Um, and we all passed the test because you just use two computers and type in the question and find the answer. Everybody gets an 80. Like
I
it's
don't
good.
think I've done those tests since 2017.
I will tell you, there was a Google My Business one, and honestly, it okay. I teach Google My Business, and I had to take this test like 5 times or something because it was so the minute detail of ridiculousness of but I do know exactly the exact way you do it and what not to do in between. So I guess I know more now taking the test. So 5 times, did I say 5 times to pass?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
So I think building off of you'd mentioned YouTube, we wanted to clock that there was a bunch of changes that happened to YouTube as well. That are some of them are really good, some of them are very stupid. NFTs, and there's definitely ones that are going to be good for building the creator economy and doing that sort of stuff by enabling people to do more monetization. Um, I think Rena, you were reading a bit more about this. Did
yeah. YouTube is doing a lot of changes. Is that what you said to me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So YouTube, yeah, they're actually, it's really funny. It's like YouTube used to be the space where you went to watch things. And I guess since Instagram and TikTok and all of those spaces are changing so drastically, YouTube is really changing some way more product plans. So things are going to be organized quite different for 2022. So they're looking to add YouTube Shorts, where individual users will be able to comment by video, which will be kind of interesting. I think that might be fun. I'm looking forward to that. But then I spend a lot of time on TikTok, so I like TikTok. As everyone knows, they're also they're looking to monetize for sure, integrating more brand content through Brand Connect and letting viewers shop directly from YouTube. They're going to do YouTube Live, collaborative live streaming, so that you can have two frames, two people from two different cameras in one frame. I guess is how that looks.
And I
And
also
YouTube,
think that just sorry to build on that was that
sure,
it's about having two channels working together. So it's not like,
yes,
oh, I have to go onto your channel. I think it's like you
yes,
get to both have it, and so you can do the
yes,
crossover. And so it's like
yes.
having a more practical way of like, how do I actually work with this person? And it's like we don't have to take away from the other one, or I just re-upload what they just did. It's like working
Yeah,
together.
what's the thing that they call it in TikTok where you stitch this, right? So you
Duet,
actually work
yeah.
with, yeah, duet, duet or stitch where you're putting their stuff first or with you, and then you're doing it afterwards. Yeah, so that'll be interesting. I'm interested in to see how the live stream syncs, if that can sync better, because I think one of the reasons why they do stitch and duet is because you can't really get that. I don't know if you heard about any of the choirs that tried to do Zoom
Mm.
practices, and there's always this kind of delay that happens, and so that was difficult. So I'll be interested to see how much you can do with YouTube Live collaborative streaming. That'll be fun,
Hmm.
if they can get that right. YouTube shopping, live shopping, shoppable videos, and oh, I think that's it. There's no one, and there's nothing after
Oh,
my and to go up there.
Well, no, there was
And there'll be way more up insights. Sorry, what were you
yeah.
going to say, Phelan?
Oh, I was just gonna say, and then there was the one we were very confused about, which is, and it's going into the metaverse, and they just like just felt like some random talking
Oh,
point that
right.
they were
Yes,
just
that's
like,
right.
and we're going into the metaverse. We're not
Yeah,
explaining how, but this is going to be in the press release, so it
yeah,
gets picked up by anyone
yeah,
looking for things related to the metaverse.
yeah.
wasn't
So it's
that
kind of hard to, yeah, it's kind of hard to see how that's going to actually reveal itself for 2022, because it seems like everything's still a little bit in production mode. I don't know. I don't know. I do know. Oh, can I segue?
yes,
Yeah.
Okay,
yes.
so I do know that like Facebook and Metaverse, they've been launching their avatars for people. I haven't gotten mine, but I've seen a few of my US friends on Facebook discussing the avatars. And so I want to know, tell me if you've gotten your avatar organized in the comments below, because I want to chat specifically with you and see how that's going. Because my avatar experience with Wii, which I've talked about before, and we were talking about in our meeting on Tuesday, is that one of the
So
most fun,
funny,
yeah,
so
one of,
funny. Okay, keep
one of
going.
the
Sorry.
one of the most fun things about being able to create an avatar in this made up world that's not based in reality is that it's not based in reality. So when I did my Wii avatar way back in the day, I think this was, I can't remember when this was, but it was sometime around 2007, around that time. And I created like, I've always wanted to be really tall. I'm 5'3", okay? I want to be tall. So I put myself as 6 feet tall, nice, long, and willowy, because who doesn't want to be tall and willowy? I don't know. Anyways, I think that I should be able to decide what I look like in any kind of make believe space. And as soon as, because it's all about your goals and tracking your goals, your fitness goals. This is what I was using it for, or what I thought I was going to use it for. And as soon as I put in my height and my weight, it just shrunk me down and gave me a completely different proportion. So that's no fun. And I don't know why anyone is we Apple? I forgot.
We
It
is
is Apple,
Nintendo.
right?
We use
Nintendo.
we use
Nintendo.
Why would
Nintendo.
Nintendo do that? Like, honestly, is that like bro culture or what? I don't really understand who made that decision. Like, if I want to put gigantic, you know, what are these things called? I don't even know what they're called. These big giant muscles here. If I want to put giant muscles on my avatar, I think I should be allowed to without being policed by the you know, whatever.
This reminds me of that movie. What is that movie that came out recently about the VR stuff? Um,
I don't know.
Oh, something guy, fun
Uh,
guy, something guy,
free guy.
no,
No,
free
no,
guy,
free
no,
guy.
free
no.
guy.
Wasn't it Player One?
Oh,
Well,
Ready
that
Player
came
One.
out a couple of years ago, yeah. But there was
Oh,
a
okay.
newer one, Free Guy, with Ryan Reynolds. He was
Oh,
basically, yeah, in a
oh
video
yeah,
game.
we worked. It's really good, actually.
Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah.
Surprisingly,
Yeah.
really good. I thought. I wanted to say, Rena, I in the Oculus was given the option to make my avatar. I did not do it, so maybe it's people who have Oculus
Uh,
first.
well, you should try. You should try making your avatar. I want to know what it's like now in 2022 to create an avatar on one of these things because I actually don't know. I want to know if they actually figured it out. That if I want to be blonde or if I want purple. I mean, I know that you can change your hair color and your eye color and all those things, but the weight height ratio. I mean, honestly, I could rant about this for an hour. It makes me so upset.
I
They
think
must. Yeah.
I
Greg.
think there's going to be a problem in the future with misrepresentation because of
Oh, sure.
customization of how people represent themselves and being able to represent themselves as if you're an older guy, as a young kid
Catfishing.
or a
Yeah.
young girl, like that could be a problem in the future. So I'm curious to
Like, it's
see
not a problem
where
now.
avatars go and how you can customize and things like that.
But
Yeah.
there could be like some kind of, profile where you have like your profile's based in reality, but your avatar is not.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah,
I mean,
it's going to
there's
be really interesting in the future with this stuff, right? Because I mean,
Yeah.
they're gonna have there's gonna be some
I
laws
mean,
that follow.
people are catfishing with makeup, alone, you
Mm.
yeah.
know,
Well, there's
completely
all kinds
changing
of
and
like.
sculpting their thing. Pardon?
Oh, I was just gonna say that there's like some changes of like people playing with identity and stuff like that. That's something we do
Yeah.
already. Of like
Yeah.
trying on different identities as you grow up, and so like
Yeah.
I'm sure that there's gonna be positives and negatives, just like there are for everything that
Absolutely.
happens.
And that's how I go into it. Like I think of it as a space for creativity and like cosplaying in a way. But I'm not a criminal, so I'm not actually thinking about those things at the moment. But yes, there's definitely. I mean, it's going to be problematic, and we already have a lot of problems with that sort of stuff already. But I think that there are ways. I think there could be some creative ways around that to protect people and to still maintain some kind of, I don't know,
Something.
identity
Yeah.
thing, fun thing.
Is that called the open verse? Is that what the open verse is? No, no. But that's a
No,
good segue, isn't it? Dun dun dun.
All right.
sure. Well, in web news, 5.9 was released. No major hiccups from that. So nothing more to report really. I
What
don't even
is the
think
one
there's
verse, Greg?
been. What's that?
What's the open verse? Oh, I need to say first, Layden, did I say Layden says, I heard a cough, cough, ah ha ha, Phelan. That was about your NFT stuff, just
Yeah.
so you know. But back to the one verse. One verse sounds like it's a
Open verse.
multiverse thing, but
Open
it's
verse,
open
and
verse.
it's a web. It's a WordPress thing. So I was about to get to it. Thanks.
Okay, I was excited. Sorry.
Openverse is something that was released in 2021, but I think WordPress is making a little bit bigger of a push for it recently. And what it is it's a search engine for openly licensed media. So images and audio files. I think there might be video, possibly, or if there isn't, there probably will be. And there's like 600 million Creative Commons licensed and public domain images and audio files. Right now, it's on their site, but I have a suspicion. I don't know if this has been mentioned yet, but I would assume this eventually could make its way into the WordPress admin, where when you're editing your site, you can actually do the search and insert images from that open verse directly from your admin.
How do you think
Oh,
that'll go with like all the sites that we go to get those images? Like, because then you won't need those.
Well, they're different. Those are not. I mean, they're images that are put on those sites specifically. So you'll search the open verse, and you will probably not find the same images that are on those stock photography sites.
Mm.
Although some of those stock photography sites, that the people that contribute to those possibly will start also contributing to the open verse. I don't know exactly how the open verse works with where they got the library of images. But yeah, I don't think stock photography sites will go away. If anything, like I was saying, I believe Openverse will probably somehow make its way into the WordPress admin at some point so that you could get images. And I think other platforms have that ability as well to be able to search some of those stock photography sites. So I think that is something that should be put in WordPress as well.
Ah, yeah, I think it'd be really interesting. I'd like it. I think it might make our jobs a little easier, no?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
every site I build, I'm going to these stock photography sites to source relevant images for clients. So it's a huge resource. I mean, there are large clients who will actually do their own photography, but for the vast majority of people who are developing websites, don't have that ability and just go to stock photography sites to find something that's relevant to what their content is.
Hmm. Huh. Yeah, I'd use it. We only have 8 minutes left, and we haven't even got to the big news,
what is
right?
the big news? Yep.
We just finished the big news,
I
Openverse.
feel like I need. I
Yeah.
thought. Yeah, I thought mine was big news. Okay, drum roll. Do we need a drum roll for Pip?
Drum roll up. Facebook and Instagram are losing people like they're dropping like flies. And Facebook also lost a third of its, no, it
No,
lost a bunch of money.
a quarter of its overall stock value in a single day, which is the largest drop ever in U.S. Stock market history.
Why
Yeah,
was that? Do we know
and
why?
So the cause for it was the reporting on their every quarter they got to say release metrics of like we had this many people use the platform daily. So theirs was the daily active user count, and it's the lowest it's been in something like 8 years. Some like absurdly low amount of people just dropped off, and so it's a huge percentage. And they just don't see that Facebook's going to, and even their flagship Instagram, which has been making up for Facebook's decreasing user base, that hasn't been picking up the slack, and so their investors just started selling off, and so they don't really have faith that Facebook will be able to rally it.
Isn't that
um,
interesting?
they're, and they're also threatening to leave Europe. So I'm interested to see how that works out in terms of numbers and users and revenue.
So you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of radio marketing, radio station marketing, because as there's two
Mm.
things you can do in two types of ways you can run your radio program, right? And it's one is grow with your audience. So as your audience gets older, your music changes and you change with your audience, so you keep your audience. And the other way is that your audience is moving in and out, right? As they age out because your music is staying, current. So it's very interesting because it sounds like that's the problem that's going on with Facebook. Because how does Facebook stay young and keep its old people who are used to the program, right? Without becoming redundant or I don't know. What do you all think? Like, do you think Facebook's gonna, is this it? Facebook's going
Yeah.
down.
I
It's
think
an
that
interesting point because I have heard for many years that young people don't use Facebook. Um, So I don't.
Mm.
I think to a certain extent, what you're saying is absolutely true. Like they had their heydays with a certain demographic, and that demographic is getting older, and for them to they need to really figure out what Facebook is going to continue to be. Is it going to continue to be something that was for the generation that became Facebook users first, or are they going to switch gears somehow and appeal to the younger generation again and potentially alienate that original group of customers that they had? It'll be interesting to see what happens with them over the next couple of years.
Nobody's done groups as well as Facebook.
Yes, that's true.
Uh,
And groups
So
create
the
community.
Google Plus was really good for groups. Just saying.
Was
I
it though?
believe it.
I never belonged to any groups up there. There seemed to
I
be
think
nothing going on.
I was a
hmm,
huge fan of Google Plus, and I used Google Plus groups for a long time,
Really?
way before Facebook groups were a thing, and it was amazing. It was exactly what Facebook groups is now, but actually, I think their implementation was probably better
Really?
than Facebook groups is
What?
now
I wonder why I didn't catch on then.
because they were
uh,
just way too late to the game.
Yeah, they
mm,
didn't do any sort of building with the audience. They came with like a fully formed product and didn't like go, "Oh, people want this part," and then slowly added to it. They came like too many feature sets. They invested too much money, and so then it didn't return in time. So then they scrapped the project because like it didn't meet the targets that they had made. That if we build this fully formed thing, we're going to expect X number of people. They like they didn't do it as like a building loop where it's like you build the flywheel of getting user base. They thought they could just come with the product and that would be sufficient to do it rather than build it over time and
mm.
realize like how to get users, what do they need, what's the next steps. They came with like a very well built, very well implemented product, but it wasn't
People were
um
just already on Facebook and
yeah.
Yeah,
not wanting to switch.
yeah.
Yeah.
This brings us in full circle because this leads me to thinking in my head about logging into Microsoft Bing Places, uh, and it when you go to log in, you can log in with your Gmail, but it says Google Plus, and I'm like, is that a slight to just Google, or is that Microsoft
No,
being super lazy?
super
All right,
lazy. I will put
That's
my foot
funny.
down that it is laziness on Microsoft where they're like, we don't want to, whatever, just grab whatever Google icon, whatever. Just
right.
like,
Well, it's still there, and you're like, oh, okay, Google Plus. Like,
But
I think we are out of time.
we
Don't you
are.
want to start
yes.
singing? Don't you want to start singing now? Out of time, out of touch. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Or out of
Oh,
touch out of time.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. So, do we know what's happening next week? Did any of us get? I know we've all been so busy. Um,
Next week I know is me, and it's one that I've been sort of looking forward to. I think it's me and Rena next week, and we're going to be talking. I'm going to be talking and hopefully telling people about tips and tricks to master the WordPress block editor.
Oh, right.
ooh,
Oh.
that'll
That's
be
gonna be
great.
fun. Yeah.
Are you doing a share screen or anything, or no?
I don't know if Rena or I have the capability of sharing screen. That's a little bit too technical for me.
Yeah, yeah, might be hard. So that is February 24th at 11 a.m. Pacific time, and it says tips and tricks to master WordPress block editor with Greg and Rena. Ooh, I'll be there
Right on.
watching, heckling on.
Ooh.
Um,
No heckler.
no hecklers. So we will see you all next week. If you're joining us and you are either on Rena's business page or my business page or on YouTube, we have a Facebook group called Cyberpunk Geeks Marketing Mixer, and that's where we all meet and socialize. And if you want to know more, come join us there, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Have a good
Bye,
week.
Ron.
Bye.